Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, a strategy and tactical Civil War game that allows you to move units around on the strategic map, assign commanders, build armies, and fight them when armies collide on a tactical map. This is episode number 46 of our Let's Play series, playing as the Confederacy, and the war is going very well for us indeed. Washington, D.C.'s been taken, Baltimore's been taken, we've taken St. Louis, and so the Union is on the verge of defeat, but we have not yet gotten them all the way to surrendering, and so we're actually fighting a battle here in Harper's Ferry, Virginia. We've made a drive on Philadelphia. Robert E. Lee is besieging the federal forces at Philadelphia, although Lee himself is outnumbered, and the Union is trying to flank us and move in through western Maryland and into northwestern Virginia, and General Longstreet's corps is defending against them. We've fought 2 days of a battle here so far. Things have gone relatively well, but it's also been kind of quiet. We have only engaged a small percentage of the federal force, which outnumbers us. The last day was entirely fought via an artillery bombardment duel, which I think we did okay on. We've got heavier guns. We've got 20-pound Parrots. I think the Federals are using 12-pound James rifles or 14-pound James rifles. So I think it's going in our favor, but they haven't yet launched an assault, and they do outnumber us by more than 10,000 men. So we'll see how this battle plays out in today's episode. This was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel, so if you're interested in following those, there's a link in the description. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and pick up where we left off. At this point, I'm fighting the game a little bit and having some issues figuring out my trench lines. So I build one trench line that's facing the wrong direction, or I thought it was, and then I build another one that's facing the other direction. So we've got like two trench lines, one facing one way, one facing the other, back to back. So it's kind of like defense in depth, but on accident. By the way, I'll just say, and I've said it before, this is one of my major criticisms of the game. It doesn't do a good job when you're stretching out your lines and your entrenchments and you're trying to build them, telling you what the hell direction they're facing. It's very opaque. I guess we'll move Sibley's brigade up here just because I feel like they're going to be the least useful. Or maybe we just move this whole division into those trenches and just march them back if we need them. We've already got a double line most of the way down there, so we can do that. Let's also get our sharps into the line. Let's put our sharps down here. And this wood line dismounted, poised to hit the enemy in the flank. Although their line may extend down into us, I don't know, we'll see. We could also send skirmishers out. Oh, wow. We started in range of their... So here's the interesting thing is if you look here, they've got this second brigade here has the high ground. But our own troops have the... well, at least one of these should be able to fire on them, right? Yeah. So they're like point blank right at us. 5 losses. They were at 500 strength before. So we'll see how that goes. This guy's shooting still. Firing, firing, firing. It says they're all firing. Yep. Oh wow, they're all shooting at this brigade too. The second brigade. Okay. Bad battle to be the second brigade here in the 1st Division of the 5th Corps. Already 1,200 casualties. Hell yeah. An original Sharps, that's not going to be cheap. I was looking at buying a repo, actually, or not repo, a reproduction Sharp. I don't know if I will or not. I'm not like a huge gun guy. But I live in Illinois, and I think they're looking at legalizing, or I know they've already passed a law to legalize using rifles in hunting, which like previously it was only shotguns. But they're going to be opening up using rifles for deer hunting but they're going to only be for flat or straight wall cartridges, I believe, which are basically like sort of the old style cartridges, like the 4570, or I think there's a third. I don't know if the 3030 is a straight wall, but like basically sort of those stubby looking cartridges without the elbow in them, because they have, the reason they would legalize them is because they have much shorter ranges than your typical rifle. And the, you know, one of the reasons that they only allowed shotguns previously is like for fear of, you know, hitting people inadvertently. If you shoot a weapon and it's got a really long range, that round may sail and end up hitting someone you're not trying to hit, rather than your game. But there's been sort of a push to legalize straight wall cartridges because they tend to have very short effective ranges. They lose velocity pretty far out there. I don't know what their like total range is before they expend their energy, but I know it's less than like an elbow cartridge. I believe that's the logic. I'm not a ballistics expert, so I could be wrong. Their effective range is much less in any event than a standard sort of modern rifle round. And I was looking at, I thought, you know, hey, it would be cool to have a Sharps. Now, I don't know that I want to put a scope on it, so that kind of comes back to what I really use it for hunting. And I've never hunted deer in my life, but I have cousins and whatnot who are big into it. And we're talking about possibly getting rifles, and, you know, maybe I would figure a way to tag along to deer hunt sometime. But I was looking at Sharps reproductions, and they're not cheap. They're like, I think the low end of the reproduction was like 2,700, and they went up a lot higher. Like if you wanted the gold engravings on the side, it was like $5,000. But yeah, there is a company that makes them. And I think the later versions, the Sharps versions used in the Civil War used a paper cartridge, but I think the later versions of it did use a 4570. I believe the 4570 had its origin in the 1870s. I think it actually was in one of the very popular post-war versions of the Sharp. Either way, it's a cool looking rifle. And I'm sure this is all talk for naught, because I don't think I'm actually going to end up buying one. But anyway. All right, so we drove 2nd Brigade back. They lost about 100 more men. We're in this point blank artillery. Blurgity blur. Can they really just attack me? So I know I'm playing very passive here, guys. What I will say is the last time we had a battle like this where we had a good start to the fight and the enemy outnumbered us heavily, and then we decided, let's attack them, we got absolutely whomped, and I can't afford to lose this battle. So I'm playing conservative. Also, where the hell are their other troops? Oh, shit. They're coming down this road. They're coming down almost behind Confederate lines. All right, we're going to shift Canty's brigade up here. We'll move Smith over here. So we'll pull these 2 brigades out of this trench line. And actually move them up here so they can engage the enemy when the enemy's in the open. Take advantage of those trenches. Well, I don't think so. The problem with me moving and flanking them in the south is like their line's got to extend somewhere here. They've got 10,000 more troops than we do. So where are they? I suppose is the question. I guess we can advance these Sharps boys up and see. Looks like our artillery just drove off one of their batteries. So we've slowly begun closing the gap on the enemy. What are you doing? Why are you not moving? All right, you're not going to get there in time. Are these guys dismounted? No. Dismount. And engage. I'm very confused where the enemy's at. There's a cavalry brigade to the north. Their own cavalry's withdrawing in the face of my sharps on their flank. So I guess we'll engage this infantry brigade. Alright, Canty's in some cover. So are the Federals, though, opposed to us. I basically took my weakest brigade and engaged 1,200 cavalry with them. But we've also got Smith coming up, although he's also suffered a bit. So we'll see how long Canty stays in place there. Another Federal cavalry brigade coming in on the flank. Advance into that trench line to face them. Meanwhile, my Sharps infantry moving forward to engage here against the Federal infantry. There we go. Get your guns in action. So the enemy does outnumber us by about 300 muskets. That being said, we have more rapid firing weapons with our Sharps, so hopefully we can do some damage. It looks like Smith's brigade has begun engaging the Federal cavalry over here. There also appear to be some infantry marching down here. Canty will probably not last long. Oh, they're gonna charge. What the fuck? Okay. Don't think I'm gonna withstand that charge. Nope, we broke on impact. Extend our right flank, Sibley. This is what I get for putting my weakest brigades over there. That being said, we're now firing in point-blank range against mounted enemy cavalry with Smith's brigade. Canty's routing. Who the hell's that? What the fuck? Where did these guys come from? Enemy cavalry charged in behind my lines and battered my artillery. Bastards! They're in my rear! Where the fuck did they come from? Well, there goes my artillery. At least I've got the double line there. I can move some troops back. Oh man, Vance is whipped. Ruggles is whipped. I think those are all my battery commanders. General Pickett, you must look to your battery of artillery. General, I have no artillery. I'm in a castle. Sort of. Arrange the castle. Longstreet's just like, guys, there's cavalry behind us and who knows what else. All right, meanwhile, how's this fight going? We've lost about 200 more cavalrymen. How's their... Fuck it, you know what? Go engage these guys on the flank. And go engage this battery of artillery. Cavalry's probably going to rout soon, but we might be able to get some flank fire into this brigade. Even things up. Alright, Canty actually withdrew and is still fighting? By the looks of it. Good on him. Oh, there's the rest of their goddamn army, all behind us. Alright, now their cavalry's trying to retreat. I would think they're going to be stuck in a bit of a pickle here. Cavalry's not ideal for infantry fights like this, at least not yet in the war, I don't think. Meanwhile, our right flank is a complete mess. I believe the cannon hasn't outed yet. God, look at all those troops coming in almost behind me. The good news is I can probably mostly just turn my troops around and shoot them because I think they've only got like the 6,000 troops to my front. Alright, so my Sharps armed troops are routing. But we're driving Williams back to our front. Alright, let's move these brigades to this road line. Deal with the enemy coming up behind me. Candy's just going to evaporate, I think. Gate in front of him has lost 200 men. We're also fighting the cavalry here. I don't know how long Smith will stay there. What a weird situation. Total casualties, percentage-wise, favor them. They're routing. Everybody on that flank is starting to rout. Trying to reform my position here. Williams's brigade is taking... The interesting thing is the Federals at this point in the war, they just don't retreat. They take so many casualties. They're just like, yeah, no big deal. We good. Wounded. Handling, that's fine. I know Buford's over there. He's running away. Don't worry. He's routed too. He's broken. Can we please break this fucker? Like, he's just melting, and he won't retreat. Let's move Mahome over there to the flank. We're going to be stuck in the open firing on this road line. No. Retreat here. Where are you going? Sibley's wounded. God damn it. Just stay and shoot at these guys then if you can. How is this brigade still alive? 300 men. Just rout. They're the men who stood their ground to the last man. Goddamn right they appear to be. Going forward, maybe he can prevent these guys from being able to form up. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a glitch where they just stand their ground to the last man, but that does not seem very likely. Literally, there's like 100 guys left and they're like, oh, now we're gonna retreat. Can you engage these horsemen? They're gonna run away, aren't they? Bastards and cowards. Westcock lost. Was he on the flank? He was not one of the... Well, he kind of wasn't on the edge of the flank there. Okay, so that brigade here under Westcock is broken. First cavalry is still broken, but they're reforming. What's the morale situation here? Our morale is at 38, theirs is at 37, so everybody hates this fight. We've lost more routes than they have. They've lost more men than we have. I gotta hand it to the AI marching around my line. Effective strategy. Smart. I did not think this was going to be a bad day. I thought we were gonna do okay. Although it's interesting that they've allowed this one brigade here to get out ahead of the rest of their force. They're not, while they made a good decision to sort of march around our lines, they're really not pressing the advantage as vigorously as I would have expected. They also have additional brigades up here to the north, another 4,000 men. Maybe they're trying to come to the relief of this left wing of theirs? Not sure. The second brigade here is just melting away. They're just like, casualties, what? Who cares? Here. If they're not deploying in depth, if they're just deploying along a narrow front, then I might have a chance to flank these guys in the woods. It looks like we're driving back the 1st Brigade, or at least pushing them back. And they're bringing another... So 1st Brigade, 1st Division, our 1st Corps, and 1st Brigade, 1st Corps, or 1st Brigade, 5th Division, 1st Corps. The brigades engaged. There also seem to be some fire coming from the woods over here. Maybe of troops I can't see? we've got at least some cover here. I didn't mean to exactly move McGowan across my entire front. I was just trying to hit an enemy unit. Its flank looked open. That brigade's routing now. I have no more cavalry. Oh, they're going to turn to shoot at me, huh? Well, at least some of their flank will be open to some guys. McGowan might be fucked, though. Alright, so this brigade died almost to the last man. Go engage that enemy cavalry. We'll see if they stand and fight. Sometimes cavalry decides they want to be feisty, but these guys look like they're just retreating. We can drive them back, then we can move these guys into the trench lines and maybe engage these brigades. I don't think the horsemen have long enough range weapons, whatever they have, to fight me. They're bringing those infantry up, though. Fulkerson is engaging enemy troops in the woods over here. And so AI is not doing a great job of effectively bringing their troops up. They did a really, it was a very smart thing, and the enemy cavalry caught me completely by surprise by coming up behind us. However, at this point in time, it does seem like, who's that? Pickett. Where are you going, Pickett? However, at this point in time, it really does seem like the AI is kind of deploying piecemeal. So that's not as effective. Great job by the cavalry to knock out my artillery. Less great job to follow that up. I don't know where Pickett's riding to. Maybe he's like Colonel Lee at, Monmouth Courthouse, generally. Alright, we're gonna push these guys back. And I'm gonna try and get Pike up into these trenches. Engage those federal troops in the open. Walker's brigade is doing good work here on the flank. Looks like the other enemy 1st Brigade here is suffering about 50% casualties. They have so many 1st Brigades. Their divisions are not very large. 1st Brigade, 3rd Division, 1st Corps. Coming up and advancing on Fulkerson. Just firing at them. Looks like they're trying to close the range before they open fire, so they're taking punishment knowing that they will get close for the return fire. And there they go. We are now at, like, literally point-blank range. They are also in cover, and we are not. So... And they have more muskets than me. Cooper's wounded. Brigadier General Cooper has received a severe wound. Division commander. That's not good news. Alright, so we drove them off. So McGowan, you're going to come fire into the enemy flank. You just got to turn around. They're already in range. And keep up your fire. Forward into them, boys. Engage these guys. Walker's been driven back. Kirby Smith up. Kind of my last reserve I've been keeping toward the objective in case they like pulled some bullshit flanking maneuver on me again, but I guess I don't have a choice but to deploy these guys at this point. Garnett will move over here on the objective. Keep chasing them, Posey. Chase the bastards. Owen's losing men. My cavalry is rallying to some extent. Where's my home? It's over here in this gobble. Yeah, so they're stacking up on my flank here. Okay. Get some of these guys into this trench line. Sibley withdrew. And Mower. So 1 brigade of each side. Casualties as a percent of the force are roughly even. Federal morale is lower than ours. Let's see how that lasts at my own routes, though. They've got 3 brigades moving on this flank. Meanwhile, it looks like the 1st brigade on this right here is suffering heavy casualties. Probably thanks to moving McGowan's brigade to fire into their flank. Mahone is at least out of the front line of fire. At least most of his brigade, I think, is out of the line of fire, although they're still taking casualties. Bushrod Johnson helping out. And Smith, Gustavus Smith up, bringing John Morgan up. We have a detachment of Bushrod Johnson's boys have manned some of these guns, so let's go ahead and get them into the fight. Hardman's gonna move his brigade forward. Get Mahone a little bit more cover. Meanwhile, we got Pike's brigade into these trenches, and he's now engaging the 2nd brigade. There's 2 enemy brigades of about 4,700 muskets against his 1,800. But they're in the open, and he is not. Mahone is defeated. His brigade is routing. Morgan maybe not moving up that far. Maybe not. They are advancing on our flank, but we are inflicting casualties on some of these guys. 500, almost 50% on that brigade. 250 there, 55 there, so that far left brigade is doing by far the best. We also have Hardeman coming up. He'll catch some touchdown passes from Mahone. Enemy brigade routed from the field. Bushrod is losing men. So our army is gradually routing. Let's pull Bushrod back before we get like the full-blown rout. Hopefully his boys can get out of there. Fulkerson up. Whipped. Is he though? He doesn't say he's routed yet. Alright, we just can't get this victory counter to get far enough up. But right now it says we have a minor victory. Casualties are roughly equal on both sides in terms of percentages. In terms of men left on the field, they've got a slight edge. We've got 24 objective points, which is the difference right now. We've got a little bit better morale, a little bit worse routes, a little bit better losses. Second Brigade's coming up here, and they're firing into McGowan's flank. Really can't take much more damage. Where are you going? Maybe turn to face him. I don't know if anybody from the other flank is shooting at you. Second Brigade here looks like it's routed. They're bringing up additional troops. Again, this has definitely not been a coordinated assault by the enemy. Oh, also the major victory thing just took a big tick. Their morale plummeted. Not sure why. Could just be the casualties. They have lost almost 30%. Then again, so have we. In any event, the enemy is retreating. I'm not really going to pursue. We'll just let them get out of here. We've already lost too many men. I don't have the energy to pursue. Oh shit! What's that? First battery wiped out. An enemy battery's has surrendered. 220 men, 22 men have been captured. 211 men have been captured. 1,044 men have been captured. 444 men have been captured. 77 have been captured. Wow. So their casualties just jumped up considerably to almost 40% of their army because of those captured men. I don't know why they all surrendered, but obviously the morale of their army is broken. So hell yeah, brothers. It's considered a minor victory because our own casualties were so high. So we did win. It was a significant victory in the sense that, you know, an enemy force of 27,000 infantry lost better than 1/3 of their men. Their cavalry lost better than 1/3 of their men. Their artillery lost 45 of their 50 guns. 13,000 out of 35,000 men became casualties. A considerable number of those were surrendered. Meanwhile, we lost 7,627 and 26 of 30 guns, so we still lost almost 1/3 of our men, but they lost almost 40% of theirs, and so, I mean, that was just an absolute horrific battle. All right, everybody, this episode's a little bit on the shorter end, but we just won that battle, and this seems like as good of a stopping point as any for this episode, so we're going to wrap this up here. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. Leave your thoughts down below, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying, as always, until next time, I'm out.